artist to music.
Now let me give a brief introduction to the collection of 30-day playlists and ebooks, what they're all about. So each one contains a Spotify playlist, a YouTube playlist, audio or video from the teacher that helped put it together, keywords. We want to give you hundreds of keywords from each playlist, a link to a Quizlet so you can practice and revise. So Quizlet is a platform that lets you choose like flashcards or a test, or if you want that kind of extra support. Also layering in bit by bit cultural conversation. So if you check the blog, we had a great guest blogger, for example, Cristina Morales, who wrote about different kinds of music cultures in Spanish-speaking Caribbean and Latin America, so that you're not only getting the keywords, but you are getting the cultural context as well. And I also include external resources, so it can be really hard, I feel, sometimes to find many platforms who teach languages through music, but they are out there if you dig enough. And I've been digging for like 10 years. So if I find a great teacher who teaches Zulu through music from time to time, then I'll link to them, I'll link to their YouTube. And I'll also put in a link for you to be able to contact teachers directly on italki, because I'm not running, right now at least, classes in these languages. I'm doing coaching sessions, which are different. But I want you to be able to reach out to the teachers directly. I'd like to do that. What is the process? So these can take weeks, these can take months to put together, because it's really like experimental and it's a lot of detail and it takes a lot of time to check over. So we don't necessarily do everything all at once. We might put up the ebook with the playlist and the keywords, and then we'll layer in the audio, and then we'll layer in the cultural conversation. So they're always growing, we're always editing, we're always checking that they're looking good. How do I choose the song? So this is a question I get a lot. I try and give you a really good variety. So a mix of styles, a mix of artists, male, female, groups, solo artists, old, new. I work with lots of different collaborators, so I try and ask them to give this balanced take as well. I think it's great to hear a mix of styles. I think it's fun sometimes to hear songs that you might know in your mother tongue but sung in that language because you're already familiar with the melody. So this is a bit about my process, which is always evolving. How do I choose a teacher? So I am, if you don't know by now, a language learning addict. So I've taken dozens and dozens of language classes in languages I don't really intend to speak, but just out of curiosity. And I think it's such an education to be meeting and working with other teachers all the time. So I connect with teachers on sites like italki, like Natakalam. I've taught in dozens of schools as well, so if I remember a great teacher from a school, I might get in touch with them there. And I try and choose the most kind of open-minded teachers who love music, or teachers who are musicians as well, or teachers who themselves have learned through music. So that's how I choose my teachers. Experienced, open-minded. How do I check for quality? So this can be really difficult, especially in languages I don't speak, of course. So I work with at least 2 to 3 teachers on each one, so we're kind of always checking each other. I think that's really important. Another really great question is, like, there's so much context in songs, like how do you deal with that? So we try and go for the simplest definition. Like, of course there are some words that can mean 100 things, or kind of sayings and stuff, so you can't capture all of that in just a flat ebook, which is why we also connect to the teachers and we're layering in these like cultural context notes as well to help with that. But yeah, we can't put the entire cultural context in these 30-page ebooks. Mind you, they're already like 80 pages long, because we have, after each song, we try to put in the YouTube karaoke version or English translation version, so with each song you feel you have a bit of support. And for the audio from the teachers, we put it also in the page so you can hear the words there. So we are getting better and better as time goes on, but yeah, we're experimenting with lots of different platforms and just trying to get it just right. So feel free to send any feedback, questions, suggestions on how it can be a bit more powerful, useful for you. How about classes? Not at the moment, but I link to all the teachers involved. I love Italki, I love Natikalam, check them out. How do you choose the languages? So I go for, selfishly, what I want to learn, and also what people ask me for on socials. If people ask me, like, if 3 people ask me for the same language, I'll put it on the list. But it does take a lot of time and energy and resources to make each single one, so we haven't been able to make all the ones we want just yet, but hoping slowly to build on that and trying to prioritize languages that don't get as much airtime. You know, you can find Japanese or Spanish on most apps, so we're trying to feature languages that don't get as much attention, like Kirundi, like Tigrinya, like Shona, like, you know, a lot of African languages. And I would love to build in more indigenous languages, because, you know, even though a lot of languages don't have all these apps and whatnot, every language has music, so we can be more inclusive. There's even, you know, incredible deaf musicians like Wawa, this rapper who I love, but little by little I have a tendency to bite off more than I can chew, but I'd rather go step by step and make sure everything is working really well as we build. I hope I've covered all your ebook questions, and I hope you enjoy the library. And please, even if it's a language that you don't intend to learn, check out the playlist, listen to the songs. You never know, you could surprise yourself or be drawn into a new language, or yeah, that's what the whole experience is for. And even though so many more business-minded people are like, no, you need to separate the languages and charge individually, kind of like just having, you know, people exploring all kinds of different languages. And these are resources I've created over the years for my own learning, for my students' learning, so it's there for you. And I hope you check out music from a language that you've never heard. That would make my day. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Languages to music.